So like I had this plan. Okay, I always have a plan.
Mhm.
I hate not having a plan. It makes me feel out of control. I don't like feeling out of control. So I had a plan. Plan went to
Right out the window.
out the window when I had to go to South City, and I was like, okay, that's fine. I can still go to school
Right.
after South City.
Mm-hmm.
Didn't get to go to school after South City.
Welcome to another episode of the Wolf's Den podcast. We have our lovely guest today. I'll let her introduce herself and tell me exactly what it is that you do.
My name is Ashna Bynoe. 23 years old.
Mm-hmm.
I work at a lease management company. I'm an account manager, and that's basically it for now. For now,
I mean, another main thing is you an offer.
Yeah, I recently wrote a book. It's called Confessions. It's a poetry compilation of spoken word in a sense.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
So where is it available?
It's available on Amazon, both Kindle and paperback copies. So whichever you prefer.
Awesome. Amazing. We love options around here.
You can get it on whichever one you want.
Okay, so that's what I wanted to talk to you about today. I wanted to hear your story. I wanted to hear why did you decide to write a book? Why did you go down the path of both digital and physical? And basically, how was that journey? So start from the beginning.
I wouldn't say there's really a beginning in terms of the book per se, as in I didn't write the book because I decided I wanted to write a book. I mean, I always knew I wanted to write a book, but my idea of writing a book was always more along the lines of a novel before poetry compilation. But I also write poetry, and I don't write poetry for other people. I write for myself. Poetry is my form of self-expression, my form of releasing my emotions, which is exactly what Confessions is, a release of my emotions, basically letting it all out. And majority of these poems were already pre-written, so I didn't write them for the purpose of the book. They just formed the book. So
I like that.
So, and then I just added some fillers, I would say. So yeah, I wrote fillers, and then I structured the book into 3 parts. It's separated into Confessions of the Heart, Confessions of the Mind, and Confessions of the Soul. So after separating these, I then added some fillers. And yeah, it's basically what it is. It wasn't exactly a whole journey into me wanting to get a book out there. I actually decided to make it a book around last year September or October. I was undergoing, a healing journey that everybody probably undergoes at least too many times in their lifetime.
Right.
And I was like, I want to write a book, so like, why not start here? And it was kind of scary because my poetry is something I keep to myself generally. I hardly ever share it with people. So taking it from my notes and putting it in a book that was now going to be out there for public consumption was like, do I really want to do this? But my friends that have had the privilege of reading my writings, like those I do share with them, always encourage me to put it out there. Like if you wrote a book, I'd buy it. I was like, okay, why not? Why not? So that's what I did. It was basically, I guess, more of a healing journey for me. Writing it out, start setting a goal and meeting it, because I was starting to feel like there's so many things that I wanted to do, and no matter what I did, I didn't feel like it was happening. So actually putting the book out there and actually getting it out there, putting it on a platform, and how like a few people buy it felt accomplishing in a sense. Like sometimes I forget, and then my friend wished me happy birthday last week, and she's like 23 and a published author, and I was like, oh yeah. I was like, oh yeah. That's true. Because honest to God, I didn't think of it that way as a book. I mean, I was excited that I wrote a book, but at the end of the day, it's self-expression.
Right, it's a passion of yours.
Writing is a passion of mine. I just write and write and write and write. Because I hardly ever speak to people about what's going on in my head.
Right.
give or take a few friends, but that's like keeping it to a minimum of 2 most of the time. So, and then even my writing, in a sense, doesn't even meet what I tell them. So, it's my form of my outlet. That's exactly what confession is. Confessing in a sense. Yeah.
Aptly named.
Yeah.
So, how long have you been writing?
I can actually say my whole life. I've always been writing since I was a child, primary school, secondary school. I'm an only child. Well, no, not an only child. I'm my mother's only child. I grew up alone. And it's how I spoke.
So basically, what I'm hearing is you have a whole 5 more books of
probably, but they're not gonna hit Amazon at all. They're mediocre.
So, personally, I've always wanted to release something on Amazon. I want to hear the process behind that. Was it hard, easy?
It was actually fairly simple. When it comes to releasing a book, Amazon has this I would guess like sub websites or whatever called KDP Publishing. Yeah, so you upload your manuscript or your file or whatever you have it saved on into Amazon. You design your cover photo, and Amazon does the rest.
That's it?
That's it. You fill it out, you put the information in there. You can either set it up for pre-order, you can just put it live right away. You're still allowed to make changes in the background. You set up your payment where you want to receive payments from. You make it available either on KDP Select, which is Kindle Unlimited, or you can either just have it on Kindle or you want to buy.
But what about the logistics behind the physical book? Because you said it's available both.
Yeah, so, as well. So when you order, Amazon prints and sends you a copy.
Amazon prints it themselves?
Yeah.
Whoa. So they bind it, print it, and send it to them. And you said they send you your copy as well, or just to them?
Well, I have the option of ordering author copies. So I can order the author copy at like a much lower price than what is being sold on for the retail price. So I can order in bulk. So I can resell it down here.
Interesting.
But if you want to order your own copy on Amazon, you can do it.
And they take care of the logistics for you. What about marketing? You have to market yourself.
I have to market myself. I could sign up for marketing, which is probably an additional fee, but they did have, I think it was, whenever you select it, they offer you like 30 days, I think, of free marketing.
Oh.
30 days, I believe. Yeah, I could probably double check that, but it was something to that extent of free marketing.
Did you try it?
I did.
How did it go?
Not sure. To be fair, when I released the book, it kind of like just releasing it was like enough for me.
Right.
Like I didn't do a lot of follow up because there's something I'm trying to get done right now, which is to go to school.
Right.
So like this has been school's at the forefront of my mind. So getting the book out there was like enough. Like everything else when it comes to like marketing and putting it out there and checking up on it.
So milestone hit. Just releasing it as a milestone hit. I'm good to go.
Yeah.
School now.
Yeah, I feel like once I get to school, then I'll probably resume either getting it to be more popular or writing another one.
So the popularity level it's at now, that doesn't really matter to you?
Right now, no, it doesn't. When I released the book, I don't think I was looking specifically for people to buy. I would, yes, at the end of the day, I want people to buy, but me releasing the book wasn't
about the money.
Yeah, initially it wasn't about the money. It was just me doing something I wanted to do and actually following through with it and not chickening out.
That's powerful. You did something that's forever on your resume. Like that's an incredible thing to be an author, and you did it not for the money. In fact, you had no intention of marketing at all. and that's a great feat.
Yeah. So when I was advertising it or like putting out there on social media, it was more like, oh my god, I read a book. And I said, okay, I read a book by it. I mean, yeah, it was also along the lines. I had friends who were sharing it as well and saying, buy. But it was like still so unrealistic to me. Again, I read the book and I was like, okay, yeah, it's there.
Okay. So before we talk about the now, I want to go back to the beginning again. You mentioned it was during the time of your healing. Do you mind sharing a little bit more about that?
Healing?
Because I want to understand. I want to understand your thought process behind starting, because that's what this podcast is about. People who have an idea, but something is telling them not to. Clearly, you were the exact opposite. Something told you to,
Yeah.
and you did it. So what was that, and why?
I tend to hold myself back a lot, and I heard about this thing. I've been hearing about it a lot lately, and like in the past, called imposter syndrome. So it's like you're doubting yourself. It's like everybody can see your potential, and you're like. So growing up, I would say I was smart. Always in my books, like. I wasn't an enjoyable thing. That wasn't I was in my books because I was forced to be in my books. I enjoyed reading. I love reading. I loved math. I always made sure I was like getting an A and above because anything below made me incredibly sad. And I was always academically or intellectually inclined. Like that was my goal. Like I thrived off academic validation. That was my thing. I loved. That's why I went to go to school so bad. Like I love learning.
Okay.
It's something I always wanted to do. I wanted to go to university straight after secondary school, but I left secondary school at 16 years old, and my mom felt I was too young, so she sent me to Safa. And she didn't sit too well with me. I mean, I don't regret Safa because I did meet the people who are now concrete in my life at Safa, and I wouldn't trade that for the world because just without them, probably wouldn't be here today. And I mean that in the most literal sense. I probably wouldn't be here today. But it kind of set me back in terms of the life I had envisioned for myself. So I had to go like straight from secondary school, straight to university, start my dream job, which was at the time accounting.
Interesting dream job.
I love numbers. It was either that or I wanted to be a mathematician. It was either one, but I think being a mathematician kind of involved physics at some point, and I didn't like physics.
Definitely.
I don't think I hated physics. I just didn't like my teacher and didn't make the topic enjoyable. So I was like, okay, physics is not, because I did chem and bios. He just threw physics out of the hood for me. So like I had this plan. Okay, I always have a plan. I hate not having a plan. It makes me feel out of control. I don't like feeling out of control. So I had a plan. Plan went to
out the window.
Out the window when I had to go to South CC, and I was like, okay, that's fine. I can still go to school.
Right.
After South CC. Didn't get to go to school after South CC. I got accepted into every school I applied to, but financially it was not possible because it's just me and my mom. Financially it's not possible. So I started working, then I started online school with UE. Complete utter trash, in my opinion. I hated it. I hated every moment of it. I did not like online learning at that. Like it's not what I'm built for. I can't sit. I'm easily distracted. Okay? If I'm in front of a computer screen, I will be doing everything. Everything I can get my hands on, I will be doing. My mom used to she's like, I don't understand how you're doing homework and you're watching TV at the same time. I did it. I'll be working or studying and have music playing in the background. I can't do a singular.
Yeah.
So sitting down in front of a computer screen on my bed when I could be sleeping or like
too linear for you.
And plus now I was working, and not only was I was initially in the project department. I was working at an international bank. I was in the project department, so I had a bit more free time. So when I started online school, it was easy to squeeze assignments and reading in between.
Right.
Then, blessing Anarchus, I got promoted. Well, I applied and I got the position in the accounting department as an accounting assistant.
Your dream.
Yes, my dream. But that required late hours, and then the pandemic hit. We were working from home, and I found myself working from like 6 to 10 every day, 6 a.m. to 10 p.m. every day.
Wow.
And I had zero desire to go back and read and complete assignments, and I felt like I was losing my mind.
Right.
So I stopped. And I tried again, stopped again, and I just decided, you know what, online school is not for me. Like, kudos to the people who do it and succeed, because that takes some serious self-discipline and concentration that I currently lack.
Right.
Always lacked. But I decided, you know what, I need to go. Like, it's not even a want. I need to go, or I feel like I'm actually gonna lose it.
Mm-hmm.
And the more I see people I went to school with graduate from university, their degree, and I'm like, I'm getting older, I still don't have my degree. It started making me feel like
yeah,
like so unaccomplished. And I was like, people are my age are doing this and they're doing that and they're starting families. I'm still kind of seeing weird to me.
Mm-hmm.
Like, you know, like you're seeing everybody getting things done, and you're like, what am I doing?
Right.
You know, I should have felt okay that, you know, I got a job straight after school.
Of course, you're
really
doing big
job,
things. Yeah.
right?
Promoted.
Right.
You're doing you.
Yeah, you know, like my friends would reiterate that to me, and I'm like, I did Carifesta, I did, you know, they're little things, but they didn't feel monumental. They did not feel monumental. So I just felt like I was just going through the motions, and that was not enough for me.
Mm-hmm.
I always had a cousin, my older cousin always told me, you're too big for Sinisha, you're too big. Like, Sinisha is not big enough for everything that you want to accomplish.
Mm-hmm.
And it's not a recent thing where I've had the desire to up and go. Apparently, it's something I've always done my mom when I was younger.
Mm-hmm.
So the longer I stayed here, the more trapped I felt. And that's how I felt. Trapped.
Mm-hmm.
Trapped. It's just, you know, like an animal in a cage.
Right. And
So,
you don't like not being in control.
I don't like not being in control. It's a problem. And I'm an overthinker. You give me an inch, just and believe there's a whole story down the line that you did not even tell me. I've just taken it and I've ran with it, and that's where we're going.
Right.
Then I left the bank because that 6 to 10 was not working out for me. A couple of some other reasons. I started a new job within the first 3 months. So like the first 6 months I got promoted. And again, it felt, I was in a bit of shock. I was like, I've been here 6 months. I'm not doubting myself. There are people here longer than me. Like, why me, not them?
Right.
Kind of thing. But I accepted it, and I'm still in that position. Almost be 2 years in August. But currently, I'm working towards actually going to school. Like, physically getting out of here. Yeah.
So, and during that time period of the feeling trapped, I'm assuming that's when you decided to put the book together.
So this is me. So this is me growing up. Me mentioning being an only child. Me mentioning the need to be in control, and me feeling trapped. Also very much trapped in my head. I live in my head. I have my own reality in my head, and I did develop anxiety over the years, which leads me to feeling out of control. Like, one thing doesn't go my way, I spiral. It is so easy for me to spiral, which is something I'm working on, and it's the healing and the letting go. Like, one of my major issues is that, I don't call it an issue, but I am very self-aware. But like, being self-aware is like half the battle. It's like you're aware of all these things, but you have no idea how to fix it, how to deal with it, how to manage, how to cope. So I'm aware I'm anxious, I'm aware I'm overthinking, I'm aware I'm making something out of nothing, I'm aware that it's not as black and white as it seems, I'm aware that I'm probably making this worse for myself than it actually is. But I didn't know how to stop. So I went to therapy. I started, I did write. I have always been writing. I try to speak more, communicate more, because communication is not my strongest suit. Trust and believe. If I can bottle something, I will bottle it. I will keep it to myself and stuff it all the way down, which is another issue I had growing up. I don't speak. My mom would sit down with me hours at a time, like, what's wrong? And she wouldn't get an answer out of me. Can you imagine this thing waiting for somebody to give you an answer, like, for 2 hours and they're just staring at you?
Wow.
Yeah.
Uh-huh.
But writing was my way of getting it out. I have books. You are right. I have a bunch of notebooks filled with poems and journaling and stuff everywhere. And I decided I don't want to feel out of control anymore. And compiled with therapy and watching YouTube videos and reading these self-development books, I learned I can't control everything. I can only control myself.
Right.
And even then, sometimes, not all the time, I can only really control myself. I can't control the people around me. I can't control every outcome. I can only control how I react, how I let it affect me, and how I go from there. Like a hard thing to learn, Somebody wants to control every little detail, just so I wouldn't have to overthink. So I wouldn't have to expect anything. So I wouldn't have to be disappointed. Because growing up, I've lived a lot of disappointment. And if I get in control of everything, then I can control how disappointed I am, or how bad this might hit me, or how this goes. So, if I see it coming, then, it's not going to hit as bad. Still hit as bad. It's still hit as bad, but writing was my escape, which is what I did. Writing was my escape generally after I wrote. And I wrote, I'll be writing for hours. Sometimes I'll be so out of it. I'll just be writing, and that's how I coped. It's how I dealt with things.
Interesting.
That's in music.
Writing for hours. And it's just poetry or compositions? Music, you mentioned music.
I started this thing, so it was poetry. It was sometimes just venting, like, with no structure, like no poetry, no structure behind it, no intention behind it, just full out venting. Or I started writing it like fiction. So
you create a story based on real life events, but make up characters.
Yes. So, let's say you and I are in an argument. Or we're not actually arguing, but there is some tension between us. I'd probably write a chapter or a story, a short story or short composition based on that, and like argue it out. Yeah, play it out. I've never actually admitted that out loud. Saying it out loud makes me feel a little bit crazy, just a little crazy.
No.
But yeah, that's what I do.
That's interesting. I wouldn't know, but it sounds like something that you see in movies when they talk about conflict resolution, would be to write it out, play it out, and write down the resolution that you would want ideally, and I guess to understand that's not how it's going to turn out, but at least you're able to picture what it is that you want, and hopefully that will reduce the anxiety.
Hopefully. So yeah, that's what I do. I write, which is what's going to be. And writing is really personal. So like, you read some poetry and it's kind of abstract and like you can interpret what you want from it. Nah, you're writing and it's right there in your face. It's personal. It's relatable, sadly. But it's emotional. It's an emotional roller coaster. It's what it was. Emotions. It was my emotions right there. So, some people read it and they tell me that, they can feel it. I'm like, yay, not yay, because I know what these emotions were in the first place.
Right.
But in a sense, it's nice to know that you're not alone in what you're feeling and that there are other people who feel it out there. So when you're in your room and your head is filled with all these thoughts and you're feeling like, you're drowning, you can't get out of it. It's like, it's a little reassuring to know that other people experience it out there. And I guess it takes a little weight off your shoulders. It's like, if they can survive after going through this, maybe I can survive. So given no experience is identical and not everybody's built the same way to deal or withstand certain things. But just knowing you're not alone is just a tiny bit comforting.
Right.
So.
I mean, like you say, to me, it is more than just powerful, maybe healing to know that your emotions come out through the page, and like you just said, that people also experience it. How has that been? Like hearing the feedback, as you mentioned it. So it's emotional. So there's a lot of emotions attached to you. But now, in general, can you generalize? Like, is it a positive thing? Is it a negative? Are you happy that you did it? Are you?
I am happy that I did it again. It just for me to feel like I got one thing done in life that I wanted to do, especially since I have not been able to go to school yet. Because it's always been at school. It's been at the forefront of my mind, and I'm like, there are a bunch of other things that I want to do, but for some reason I feel like I can't do them unless I
school.
Finish school.
Okay.
Yeah. But the feedback, I've had a friend who I consider a really good writer as well. She's also released books, provide feedback, and she's commended me on my writing. She's shared her favorites of the poems with me, and that in itself was a positive feeling because I consider her like an amazing writer. So for her to read my work out and like it, I was like, okay.
You got some.
Yeah. And then I have other friends who've read it and shared their favorite parts with me and let me know what they find relatable or what hit hard for them the most or what hit home. And it came as a surprise for some because I'm like, I look at them and I'm like, I wouldn't expect you to relate to that part. Like, I wouldn't expect you to, just a surprise that that's the part that you related to or that's the poem. And then it just reinforces that you don't really know what people are going through. So when I have this poem and I know what the story behind it is, and then somebody tells me, yeah, exactly like that, and I was like,
wow.
Yeah. But it's been an experience. It's like I love reading books and I can relate to some of the poems. Again, like to know that you're not alone and when the thoughts are going through your head that you're not crazy. When the thoughts are going through it, like, okay, yeah, other people think this way too, and will feel this way too. So it's like now that I know I can put words out there so other people can realize that other people feel this way too.
But you know that's like relatable to entrepreneurship in general. In terms of starting your own business, you feel afraid that, oh my God, people like this product. I like it, but that doesn't mean the world would like it.
Yeah.
You're scared that you won't get sales, people would get hurt or injured, which would be the worst case, at least for me, worst case scenario. You wouldn't want to hurt people. So all of what you're saying, I can apply to entrepreneurship in general. And that leads me to my next question. Since it's basically your soul you're writing, and it's not really the business aspect of it, do you think you would write again after school?
Actually, I wouldn't say after school.
Wow.
I need to just get to school. But yeah, I do plan on writing again. I plan on writing a sequel for Confessions. So whereas Confessions was like me bearing my heart and my soul and I guess showing all the dark sides, I want to write, I guess, like a lighter version to that. So like since Confessions is about my healing, like me expressing all of this to get to healing, I guess I want to write like post healing. Not that you're ever really done healing, but I guess the upper side to it, what I have realized so far coming out of certain things.
Okay.
Yes, I do plan on writing again.
Surprising. I thought school would be like...
No, school is there. School is there. I do actually have a bunch of ideas and stuff that I want to make a reality again. That I still don't feel like I can do it. I get to school. I always wanted to write, though. I always wanted to be an author. I wasn't sure how I would do it, but I just knew I wanted to be an author. I wanted to write.
I love that narrative. That is exactly what I'm trying to bring across. we focus so much on the how that you end up not doing anything. Because you have the desire, you don't know how you're going to do it, so then you just stop. I'm trying to bridge the gap between that. I'm trying to show people that the people who have done things, they didn't know how either. They did it regardless. And that's a common thing amongst everybody that's been on this show so far. And I know it will be a common thing amongst every entrepreneur. We have a desire, we have a solution, we have something, but we just don't know how to put it out there yet. And it's just about mastering the craft of focusing on what you do know, and then the rest just fall in line.
I mean, besides my writing in school, I always had like multiple business ideas.
Mm-hmm.
At some point, I wanted to be an interior designer. I grew up watching HGTV with my mom, and I just always wanted to be an interior designer.
Mm-hmm.
I wanted to open a rage room down here for people like me who tend to cry when they get angry because they can't hit or throw something at somebody. I want to open a rage room.
It's a good idea.
I love rituals, but they're a bit overpriced and not comfortable in a sense. Like I want to open up this cafe that's more like a lounge, more comfortable to sit in, drink your coffee, like, instead of just having the table, so you can sit at my booths to relax in. There's a library corner. I have like a bunch of little ideas. I want to open a restaurant because all my restaurants on here are so basic. I'm sorry, it's the same thing everywhere. Like just a bunch of different things, but between the rage room and the cafe,
Top two. I mean, definitely would be needed there. I don't think we don't have anything close to a rage room here, but I've seen it online and they're pretty good.
Yeah.
So
especially violence on if somebody can break something, they'll just think twice before they shoot somebody. Hopefully, and that's a
hopeful solution, which is what I think we all should aim for, right? In society, like we have problems. Currently, we have a very big problem. And if we were to more than just come together, because everybody talks about come together and let's do candlelight vigils and all these things, which are great, but effective change would be something substantial. And I think through entrepreneurship that can be something. Like you see a rage room, that's actually a physical thing that can actually turn and help your emotion, which is part of the problem.
Yeah, because a lot of us, especially for me, the initial pain and hurt turns into anger the longer it's there.
It festers.
The longer it festers. So anger is never just anger. It always stems from being hurt or feeling betrayed or feeling disrespected. Anger is never, I believe anger is never the initial emotion. Anger is a result of the initial emotion. You hurt me, the more I think about it, the more upset I get. You disrespect me, the more I think about it, the more upset I get. You betray me, the more I think about it, the more upset I get.
Right.
You disappoint me, the more I think about it, the more upset I get. Anger stems from an initial emotion. So I have something to break. If I have something to smash, then
an outlet. Yeah.
Because writing is my outlet, but it only does
so much.
It only does so much.
And you be helping other people who don't have an outlet of writing. Like I don't write. Actually, fun fact, I used to. I was very like you bottle things in, and I've since then learned to use my words. But before I actually I actually started a blog, and similar to you, it was online, but I didn't market it. The only thing I did, I attached it to my Facebook, so when I posted, it would automatically share, and I never told a soul. Like, and I never told anybody, but you would see it.
I did that once. I started a blog. I have no idea where it is. I did that when I was younger. I started a blog. I think I only told one person about it because she started one too. But I don't think I ever told anybody I started a blog. I have no idea how to find a blog to do. But
I use like one of those free, like I think it's WordPress for free. So.
might have been. I also used to write on this forum called Writers Cafe.
Mm.
My writing at that time was really dark. I'm pretty sure if my mom saw it, I would be probably like, say, can't get there.
That's actually what I wanted to ask you. You said you have all these books and journals that you don't let people read. Has your mom, or to your knowledge? Okay.
She read Confessions and she's dealing. She's dealing. She's trying to process it. She's gone through a bunch of emotions. I'm sorry, I probably shouldn't have laughed, but my initial reaction, she stopped reading. She read the second poem. She assumed it was about her. I'm with her confirming not lying. And she's like, I'm not reading this. She's like, I'm not reading. I'm like, the rest of the book has nothing to do with you. And she's like, people are going to read this and think I'm a horrible mother. I'm like, no, they're not. I'm like, you did the best you could with the knowledge that you had. You raised me well. I'm fine. I said not okay. I think I said not okay. But this is just my expression of my emotions, how I do things, how I felt. I'm like, it has nothing, more or less, nothing to do with you.
Mm-hmm.
I'm like, don't take it so personal. It's my personal, but it's not your personal. But she told me she read it in parts. She couldn't read everything in one go.
Mm-hmm.
And you can read the book in one go, trust me, you can. But she didn't because it was a lot for her to process.
Right.
That in her mind, she failed me as a mother. And I was like, didn't. I'm still here.
I mean, that's a powerful thing about writing. You, or art in general, you genuinely assume and relate. And I think that's what makes it more powerful. So unfortunately for her, she wrote it to herself and it was not a good relation, right? But like you were saying before, people who commend you on it would have related to it and hopefully would have healed from it. So that's the trade-off, I suppose.
Think, for her, the problem was it's just the two of us. It's me and her, mother and daughter, and I had all this going on, and I never let her know. So she felt like I couldn't talk to her. She wasn't interested, or I just didn't feel comfortable talking to her. I'm like, I don't feel comfortable talking to anybody. Same about you. I mean, it's not about you. It's not what you're thinking.
Right.
It just, what's the point? I always felt like, what's the point of telling people what's going on in your head? It's not gonna fix anything. It's not gonna change anything. You're not gonna make me feel any better. You're not gonna make me feel any better. You're not gonna solve my problems. You're not gonna magically snap your finger and make everything okay. So if talking to you is my equivalent of venting, I might as well just write.
Right.
Mm-hmm. I'm not gonna get anything out of it. Sorry to say. But I did have one friend. I always say thank God for her because this girl was persistent. I told you I could sit down for hours staring at you, blanking your eye and not say a word to you.
Mm-hmm.
She was persistent. She lived with me at the time when we were going to school. And she would not leave me alone. She would not leave me alone until I told her what was going on. And I couldn't escape. We lived in the same house, we shared a room. I couldn't escape. And she just sat there until I spoke. Which is eventually when I started articulating my feelings. Because she wouldn't leave me alone until I did. So she has stubbornness and pure irritation.
It worked.
Yeah, it did. That's when I started speaking or communicating how I felt, which I still kind of struggle with today. It's again once I feel like I'm speaking and you're not hearing what I'm saying, or I feel misunderstood, or I feel like you're just not getting it, or I feel hurt, or I feel offended. I shut down. Shut down. I feel like you're mad at me. I shut down. I hate confrontation. I shut down. I just leave it alone. So if you're talking to me and I feel like it's escalating, I just stop talking. Just stop.
So what about spoken word? That way it combines communicating but no actual confrontation. It's just you and the mic.
I thought about it, but I don't think do we really have things like that down here.
I know KO was doing when he's here at least.
Yeah,
they were the soul thing and That's the only one I knew of. As if I remember, was it Kidel? I can't remember, but I've seen around. I mean, art is not my thing.
I mean, people do it freehand, like Q and Kidel, like they post on their own social media that they just do it and they post it. But I think, don't tell me to do it because I just want to be a participant. I don't want to be the one putting it out there. I like how in the States or in the UK or these places they have these little clubs. Little bars, so people they have open mics, and like you come, you either you play a guitar, or you sing, you do your spoken word, you stand up comedy. If we had something like that here, I might find myself on the stage doing spoken word. But
how about starting that? You started there.
I just said I'll be a participant for that. I mean, that would be cool to make a little bar, like a little cozy. Hole in the wall. So a lot of our bars are open spaces when you think about it. Really.
I'm trying to think of one that's not
an open space. It's an open space. Also, it's an open space.
Like the one, the treehouse thing. That one in Grosse.
That would actually be a pretty nice spot to do something like that.
You're welcome.
But yeah, it would be interesting if you actually get artists who would actually put themselves out there.
Expression people like you who would enjoy that. Yeah, and they don't know how else to express themselves. That's exactly what they're for. That's something you could embark on in addition to your entrepreneurial journey. Think about it. So, now let's talk about the now for confessions. I remember I told you I want to pocket it for a while to hear the beginning. So, the now. And he said there's a sequel coming. Yeah. Is that going to be another collection of your past notes, or you're actually going to write for it?
I'm actually going to write for it.
Write for it.
Because this would be, like I said, the upper side, I guess, or the lighter side to confessions. Majority of my writing is dark or heavy, I would say. I wouldn't say dark, I'd say heavy. Because that's when I write. When my emotions are overwhelming, when I'm feeling really sad or really upset or really betrayed or really whatever negative feeling, my writing is along those lines of those negative feelings of hurt, of betrayal, of pain, of suffering. So to write the lighter side to confessions, the sequel is gonna be different, a lot different for me, because again, I don't usually write when everything is okay. Whatever okay is. When everything is okay, when everything is light, and everything is. I write when it's
dark.
Heavy. Yeah. So writing the sequel is gonna be a bit of a challenge, I guess.
Do you have a timeline when you want to start? No?
Probably after school. I start school.
You see you at school.
Like, I tend to, the reason why I'm pushing forward to school 7, I tend to, again, me and my wolf active mind, I tend to start multiple things at once, or have multiple goals at once, and then I'm doing so many things that I feel like I'm not actually completing any of them to an extent. So when I was focusing on the book, that was it for me. I was focusing on the book. And now that I'm trying to go to school, I'm trying to make it my sole focus so that I can get it done, and then I can move on to something else. Like smaller goals I can meet in between, but I feel like something as big as a book for me, or a sequel, especially since it's not writing I'm accustomed to and comfortable with. Yeah, it's gonna be different. So again, that's why I'm saying after school. Well, not even after I finish school, but like after I actually get
the initial step of getting in and going and stuff. Understood. Okay. That's so you have it structured, but on a loosely structured, basically. Awesome.
So if I do write this book, it's gonna be sometime towards the ending of next year.
Okay.
When I do write this book.
So you're gonna have your fans dying waiting for the sequel.
See, nobody knows about the sequel. Nobody's dying waiting. Nobody's dying waiting yet. So nobody knows.
Okay, so final thoughts. What have you said already that you want to emphasize for people who want to start on the entrepreneurial journey, or what haven't you said that you want to get out now?
I wouldn't consider myself an entrepreneur just yet, especially since, like I said, Confessions wasn't really about the business aspect and more of the writing. But given that it was something that I wanted to do and it can be considered entrepreneurial, seeing as it is my own product, just do it.
Okay,
That's what I did. I just did it because, honest to God, if I had to sit down and think about it a lot more than I did, Confessions would still be in my notes.
I love that.
It would still be in my notes. So, yeah, in the words of Nike, just do it. Just take the step and just keep going, because I did face a few setbacks with Confessions on Amazon because, one, St. Lucia is not listed on the list of countries where they send payments to. So I had to try to open an international account. That didn't work. So lucky for me, I got a friend who agreed to open an account in my name, and she lives in Canada. So that's how I got it set up.
Wow.
But that's really what put a delay, because Confessions was supposed to be released at the end of December. Luckily, I actually got it in time. It was released on New Year's, which felt so nice. Starting the new year with my book. Yeah. Yeah, it was supposed to be live, but it was a pre-order for New Year. But the paperback version was available as well.
Okay.
So just do it, and it was so easy for me to get discouraged. I was like, I really want to put this out there. I want to put my thoughts, feelings, and emotions on full display for people to read, dissect, and especially since, like I said, it stays in my book for so long. But then I realized these people don't know me personally. Like, people who buy it, they might know me, but they don't know me personally.
Right.
So when they read this book, they're going to be reading it for their own personal experience and not trying to figure out who I am through my words or what my writing is about.
Right.
So yeah, basically that's it. Just do it. Just go for it. Just take it one step at a time. Whatever setback you face, you'll figure it out.
Just jump over the hurdle.
That's my new motto for life. I'll figure it out.
Yeah.
I'll figure it out. I was usually telling my friend this yesterday. There is nothing that can happen now that I'm not prepared for. Not in the sense that I have an answer for everything, but in the sense that I know myself, and I know that no matter what happens, I'll be okay. I'll figure it out. I'll get it done. So just figure it out and get it done and keep moving forward, because things are gonna happen. Life is gonna keep lifing. It's time waits for nobody.
Very true. Very true.
Just do it. Just get it done.
I love that message. It's a very powerful one.
Don't worry about the if, ands, and buts, because there's always going to be an if, an and, or a but. There's always going to be somebody else doing it. Another reason I felt about writing a book on my book, and with so many people who've written the books already, who's gonna look at my book and tell you what to read that.
Right.
Just do it.
Yeah.
Like, the self-doubt is always gonna be there, so just power through and get it done.
Very true. You mentioned that you don't consider yourself an entrepreneur, but a lot of what you're saying, and especially that last message, is very true to it. It may not be, starting a coffee shop may not be your sole expression, but it is still something you putting yourself out there. And it is scary to go to work every day and not see anybody for like a month, and you're like, oh my God, am I doing the right thing? It's very scary to start any business, whatever it is that you do, which includes writing a book, and it's commendable when you do. Well, yeah, I want to thank you for coming on. It was great talking to you. I know you don't consider yourself an entrepreneur, but I do. At least the values that my listeners can take away with. Thanks.
No problem. Thank you for having me. Thank you for allowing me to have this discussion.
No problem. Bye, guys. Hey there, Alpha Pack. Thanks again for watching this week's episode. Continue the discussion on our community Discord. Every week, I'll have the guest come in and answer you guys' questions. The link will be in the description below. See you there.